Hi Rob, could you please teach us about how to use pivots? David said we could ask you. Oh, charming of him. G'day Constant, how you doing? So you guys want to know about pivots at some stage? Do you think it's possible to squeeze an entire information about pivots into one session? Do you think that's possible? 2 maybe. Yeah. We will do a pivot session. Right, so well observed, Boykie. God, you're onto it. Okay, so I changed these things around here today, and it's just only because this is sort of, oh, hang on, let me get my pen. These are sort of more interrelated to this, so it's just easier to draw the arrows, basically. Okay, and leave my little automation to the side. Okay, so having said that, let's get started. So we're still in the we're talking about the engine room of a trading system and how you're going to trade and how you're doing analysis and trade planning and execution and management. And every piece of conversation we've had around all that, it sort of flowed naturally into sort of the trader psychology area of things. And so now it's time to talk psychology and rules and see how they can relate back and how important this is to one's, yes, it is recorded, how important this is to one's trading system. This here, guys, I'll tell you now, I was saying this in my class today, but if this was compared to, like, you know the food pyramid? You know the food pyramid where down the bottom is the things that you should eat the least, and up the top is the things that you would eat the most. You need to eat the most. It's smallest, but it's the most important little group up here. This up here, this little component, which is absolutely essential, is the psychology and rules. If you cannot be strong psychologically and stick to your trading rules, you will fail. Simple as that, you're going to be a failure. Telling you now. G'day Lee, how you doing? New Zealand must be just buzzing right now, Lee, with the whole World Cup rugby about to kick off for you guys. So let's talk a little psychology. Now, I personally, obviously there's different thoughts on trader psychology. I even had a boot camper once who was a psychologist, okay, a doctor, and said, "You're speaking a load of rubbish. There is no such thing as psychological issues in trading." Oh, be very careful, Tony. Yeah. Some European guy, I forget his name, I think it's from Europe somewhere. No such thing as psychology in trading. I'm like, sorry? There has to be. No, it wasn't Wim. Okay. So, being strong psychologically and the strict following of your trading rules are critical to your survival. Period. Okay? If you cannot achieve these, if you do not think you will be able to achieve this, ever, what I'm highlighting in yellow, please leave the webinar now. Because that's where we're at. You're not going to make it. This is what sorts the men from the boys, I'm telling you. It is not your system, what you're using, the tools, the special whiz-bang indicator. What is the difference between a man and a boy in trading is how psychologically strong you are and can you stick to your rules. Period. Okay, you need to be strong here. This is where I've put most of my focus, guys. In my very short coming up 3 years of a full-time trader, probably the last 1.5 years, most focus has been on my psychology. It does not take rocket science to work out where support and resistance is. It does not take rocket science to work out where to execute a trade and where to get out of it. But it does take some special skills to be able to take a couple of bad losses and get back up on that horse and do it again. Staring at exactly the same sort of trade again that you just took 2 or 3 losses in a row on and say, I'm confident this will work. But that's what you need to be able to achieve. Okay? And as I was mentioning before, aspects of all your psychology go hand in hand with your analysis. Okay? And your trade planning and the execution. Hands up in the room, who whenever they take a trade, the moment they take a trade, they're thinking, I shouldn't have done that. And constantly, every single time they take a trade, the sort of heart starts beating, and they immediately think that that does not look as good as what it did 1 minute ago. Well, that's good to see, Colin, because if that's the case, you've got issues back in the old analysis and trade planning area. Okay, you need to be a good trader. Okay, is confident in their analysis and trade planning. Okay, we accept losses. Anyone in the room? Anyone in the room? Every time they take a loss is trying to break down things as much as humanly possible to work out why that was a loss. I.e., who struggles to accept losses? Is there anyone in the room? Is there anyone in the room who's a high achiever, straight A's all the time, always was right, never been wrong? Because if you're one of those folks, of course you were wrong. I mean, if you're one of those people, you're going to struggle. Because I don't care what they say. Losses are a big part of trading. I take lots of losses all the time. Don't think that people educating you or people whose book you read are people who do not take losses and they've got some whiz-bang, perfectly rendered end-to-end trading system that does not do that. That is not in existence. Okay? A good trader is someone who's confident in their analysis and their trade planning. We do not micromanage the trades. I think we were discussing that a little bit last night. We don't sort of, oh my God, it's going against me, I'm getting out, and then watch it go in that direction you wanted it to. And we just accept losses and move on. We trade our trade. If I've got direction wrong, I take a loss and I go line up a new one. Yeah, I mean, we all hate losses, Steve, right? But we need to, you just need to, and this took me a while. They're part and parcel of the game, but it's that, if you can stick with your system long enough, you'll see that everything works out well in the end. Okay? Being strong psychologically, guys, means being able to absorb many losses in a row, but can line up exactly the same trade despite, taking some losses. So, this will be me, right? For example, this is me in my own personal trading. And I'll show you this on the Forex tester when we do some testing, because next week, maybe, in the coming weeks, I will show you exactly how I trade, and we'll make 10 trades, and you'll see like the first trade will be a break even, and then the next trade might be a minus 17, and then the next trade might be a minus 12, and then the next trade might be another break even, and then the next trade will be a plus 64, and then you might take a minus 14, and then suddenly everything sort of works itself, and you're going to get a plus 182. That's sort of part and parcel of what happens. No, absorbing losses will not wipe out the money if you can stick to your plan. If you have confidence in your analysis and trade planning, a higher percentage of the time you'll be successful. And that would be like 2 days of my trading, guys. Like that would be like something that might happen on like a Monday and Tuesday. Like Asia, bad. New York started off bad. And then Asia maybe the next day, that might be the Tuesday, good. And then like New York bad, but then you planted something in New York that went. Right? That sort of thing is part and parcel of trading. And that's the sort of thing that you should be looking for, is you just absorb losses, but then suddenly something's going to sort of work itself out and all will be good. Okay. Confidence relies in wins, George, yes. And, I mean, wouldn't you be confident after making 182 pips in a trade? Wouldn't you be like, okay, we're good. So you say it's hard to plan to make a living that way. So, okay, you tell me how you plan to make a living then. If you think you're going to make a living by having a high percentage of winners, you're dreaming in this game. It's not unpredictable profits. I could show you 100 trades, and that's the pattern that will be all the way through, right? That's the pattern that you'll see, like loss, break even, winner, loss, break even. But, you know, you've got to remember something, right? Remember this. The most successful traders in the world, the market wizards, all their theories are the same. Cut the losers and let the winners run. Right? Some of those guys, of the best traders in the world, have a 30% success rate. 30%. I'm well above that. I would say I'm above 60. Personally. But you should be able to make money off 30% success rate. You get it, and this is the hard thing in trading. This is why psychology is so important. This is not an easy game. This is a tough game to win at. That's why 95% of people are unsuccessful. It's not easy. It is brutal. I mean, there are times, guys. This will be me, right? This will be me in a normal. This will be me fairly often, and I am not joking. I'm being 100% honest. Okay, I'll take. Like, I will start a week with minus 20, minus 17, minus 14. That'll be me. That'll be me. I don't know, just thought I've had direction and just got knocked out. Because it's above a technical level. Is this an example? Okay, but then I'll take a break even. Then I'll have a 54 pip winner, a minus 10. Then I'll make 60, minus 15. But then I'll make something of substance. And then I'll make something of substance again. So what I'll do is, like, I'll quite often talk to this about my class. I'll be like, you know, I've had a very average week. I'm totally open to my class about my trading, right? I've had a very average week, and this is like on a Thursday. But you know what? In the longer term, I'm still confident in what I'm seeing and what I'm doing and things like that. And then the next day, I come into class. Yeah, I made 250 pips last night. Week sorted, dude. And then you finish the week off with a little loss and another win or something. But that's exactly how things work. Sort of, if you trust your trade plans, you take your losses, you let your winners run as much as you can, and it's the nature of the beast. Okay, so if you're wondering to maybe identify the first signs you psychologically are struggling, is one of them will be you are micromanaging your trades. Now, I think we discussed that a little bit last night. There you go, George. C1 Borg, yes, probably. Depends. If I'm ahead and charts look good, I'll keep trading. But if I'm done, if I've made my money and the charts suddenly look like, you know, sideways, I'll go turn them off, do something else. Have a day. I'm not afraid to have a Friday off. If I've made my money by a Friday, guys, I will probably not even consider looking at the charts. I'm just sort of, good week, go and have a 3-day weekend. So if you're a micromanager, you psychologically got issues, you're going to have to resolve it. Okay, lowering the risk in your trades. If you look at a trade and go, oh, ideally I need a 30 pip stop on that, but I ain't doing that, I'll give you 15. You're going to struggle. Psychologically, that is playing with the amount of money you have to risk. See, when you put a stop loss in a trade, ideally it should be around a technical level. Not just a figure that you pluck out of the sky that makes you happy because if you take a loss, it's not going to feel as bad. So if your stop needs to be 30 pips, it needs to be 30. And if that means you have to half your lot size, you just have to half your lot size. But the moment you say 30 pips is too far for me, I'll just make it 15 and pray, you're going to be doomed. I'm telling you now, you'll take a loss. Okay? Another one, and this was a big problem I had, a huge problem I had was, a couple of years back, was moving stops too soon. Who sort of like, as soon as you think your trade, the second you think your trade is working out in your direction, you're moving that stop to break even. Only to find that trade is ending up being a break even. Anyone? There you go. Yep. It doesn't, does it? Okay, and then the last one here would be come under the old revenge trading. If you are finding yourself revenge trading, i.e. you make a trade and instantly when you're taking a loss, you're taking the reverse position without really going through the analysis and trade planning and things, psychologically you're letting the charts play with you. No, I don't take partial profits. I don't scale, I don't reload, I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just very basic. Give me 50 pips a day and I'm a happy camper. 50 pips a day on average. And I'm a happy camper. And I know in the long run that if I just do that and build things up and build things up and build things up, I'm all good in the hood. All those things will kill you guys. When I was, let me tell you a quick story, but after 3 months of becoming a live trader, after 3 months of becoming a live trader, I had psychological issues. I was lively, unfortunately. I'm probably the coach at bootcamp that's because I had a massive psychological issue whilst I was a live trader. And when I became a bootcamp coach, when Wayne McDonald decided to consult me as a coach, I decided that was an area that bootcamp needed to improve on. So I do a lot of psychological talking in the old bootcamp. Okay, so when 3 months after trading live one day, I had planned for 2 days to long a pound on a 4-hour chart, just like I do now. Big 4-hour swing, 15-minute change of trend, off you go. Yes, George, journals are clutch. So, line this trade up. I specifically remember it well, and in fact, this trade came into play No, I was trained as a trader while attending boot camp, and I was just brought in to start coaching after I was a live trader. I was a live trader for a year, and then Wayne said, I need an Asia coach. I'm expanding. I want Asia. I used to hang around boot camp a little bit after I was a full-time trader, and people said, just ask Rob if he wants to do it. So Wayne approached me and asked me. So it was right about this time of day, guys, right about now, the trade lined up. And I took it. And I needed a big stop on it. And I was over leveraged. And this sort of thing happened where I was waiting to long it. So the 15-minute chart came down, sort of reversing, off we go, pull back, I longed it, okay, and I had to have a big stop below here, unfortunately, for obvious, probably volatile reasons or whatever, and it just went like this, bang, it did not, like something volatile happened in the market. It was at this time of day, and my stop, honestly, my stop was gone in 2 minutes. And I lost I was like, whoa, that was bad. And instead of just saying, okay, fine, let's chill here, realign the satellites, what's going on, checking trade the news, all that sort of stuff, I just said, how dare you do that to me, Pound? I've been sitting here for days wanting to long you right around this level. You're giving me the shot, and I did it again. And within 2 minutes, I'd taken another 50 pip loss. So, in a matter of 5 minutes, I'd lost a big chunk of money. And I got all 3-to-1, Boyke. Or 1-to-3, whatever. Okay. And I got a little bit revenge trading on it and instantly tried to make up these pips. And it was a situation I'd never come across before. And in that day, I took like 6 losses in a row. And I didn't know this because I wasn't really educated in it, but psychologically, I was in trouble. And I couldn't identify it, right? I was just revenge trading. I was just like trying to take anything to make up some of those losses back. And man, it wasn't working. So that next day, psychologically, I'm down, right? I'm hurting. So what do? Is I just rock up again, and I'm still got the previous day on my mind. Instead of just like, dude, put that out of your mind, wipe the slate clean, let's just go through the whole analysis, trade planning, line it up, you'll be good in the long run, trust yourself, trust what you're doing, this is what you trained for. I was just looking to try and make that money I'd lost back, because I've been like fairly consistent, right? I was only 3 months full-time trader. And I lost every trade that day again. And by the end of that week, I'd given most of the money I'd made that year back. Just like that. As quick, I'd given that back. Yep. This is why I focus so much on the old psychology, guys. And so, you know, looking at the photos of my son on the wall, or my family, I'm like, oh my God, this trading game's hard. What's happening here? I'm losing. I was fairly good. I was consistently making money. Now I'm losing every single trade. Or then suddenly I realized that, whoa, took 6 break-even trades today. And then I worked out, then this is what happened, guys. Seriously, this is what happened. I live in California. I went inside, spoke to my wife, and said, I'm in trouble. I need to stop the bleeding, as we say in boot camp, off the live account. I need to go somewhere and just work some stuff out and turn something around here. But I've fallen into someone else's trap here. I've been caught by the enemy, basically. Instead of letting the enemy fall into my trap and pouncing on them and winning, I'm held hostage. Sure, not really. I don't personally. If there's a trade to be had and it all lines up perfectly, I'll take it. I don't care. But for most people, it might be a good rule to have. So she made the suggestion. She goes, honey, why don't you just go back down to New Zealand? That's where I come from, of course. And just take your time down there. Just go hide away down there and do what you need to do and sort that out. Because I can't have you awake all night walking around the house here and all that stuff. It really, really affected me. So off I went. And still, when I got to New Zealand, broke out the live account, still had this micromanagement issue. Micromanagement and also moving my stops to break even too soon. And so what I worked out was, okay, you had direction right, you just moved your stop to break even too soon. Next day, okay, you had direction right, you're just moving your stops to break even too soon. Yeah, she's a keeper, Tobias. An absolute Don't make them like they used to. Both have their good things and bad things. If you could take the good things of both, Boyke, oh, that'd be awesome. So, to get around it, interested in how I got out of it, is I said to myself, like my first week back in New Zealand, after this bad period I had, I made 50 pips that week. Average, right? I ain't going to survive off that being a full-time trader. She's an Aussie, actually. Right? So, revenge trading, money magnet. Revenge trading, just like not even looking at the big picture, just like, how dare you go against me like that, and just taking the opposite direction and stuff. Not just saying, whoa, okay, where's the long-term direction? Okay, that's your buy area, that's your sell area, wait for the change of trend, just chill the hell down. Wait. I'm just like, another loss down, this took the reverse. And just get loss after loss after loss. I just got hammered, man. I just got beaten up. Right? So, I actually ran in tandem a demo account and my live account. And what I did just deliberately, as I said, I was going through my analysis and my trade planning and my execution. And I said, okay, you've got the psychological issue on your live account, so just do what you're doing. Stupidly move your stops to break even too quickly and all that sort of stuff. But on the demo account, just let them run. Just give that stop time to breathe and prove to yourself, right? So in the first week I did that, the demo account made 800 pips. And I thought to myself, well, maybe that was a fluke, but I did seem to have direction right all week. So, maybe I'm not that stupid after all. And then the next week made like 700 pips. So it just gave me some confidence by going back to my demo that I actually did know what was going on. And then I slowly was just able to get on the right side of things and sort of kiss all those psychological issues goodbye. And you know what? It might be something, and I can tell you now, I'm unbelievably psychologically strong. I'll take a loss, 2 or 3 losses in a row, no big deal. Doesn't bother me, right? Probably a month, money magnet. I was all back good in the hood, right? So, yeah, it feels good. I'm much better for it. And it might be one of those things, guys, that you might have to prepare yourself as a trader, that every single one of you might have to go through something like that. But there's one thing in boot camp that I don't think they prepared me for very well, but we talk about it a lot. But I'm definitely much better for it. I was even talking to my wife at one stage when it sort of was going down, that, oh, maybe I've just got into this way too quickly. Maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew. But then, when you break it down, it's all upstairs in your mind in this business. The tools are fine. You can use whatever you like. You're buying at support. You're selling at resistance. If you're doing it in a trending market, you're going to be fine. It's when these things just don't go your way for a day or two. It's when the mind games come in, and it's critical that you jump on them and fix it as soon as possible. No, I'm fixed. I'm like, I'll just take a trade now and walk off inside and come back and see what happens later. I don't care. I'm fixed. Lower the leverage a little bit, money magnet. That's a good question. Just said, oh, let's just ramp that down a little bit so while we're sorting some things out. And then just got it back up to normal and, you know, all good. Well, it was to go onto demo to prove to Bias that I actually knew what day it was, that I wasn't just an idiot. But you know, from that it stemmed into a whole lot of stuff that I'll bring up with I'll bring up when we talk down here. Maybe next week, I think we're going to talk in this sort of area. There's a whole lot of things around, you know, improvements that I needed to do with psychology. See, what happens... You want to go to New Zealand? Honey, I have a trading issue, and I heard the fix was to go down and trade in New Zealand. Isn't that cool? Let's go down to paradise. And it just, I don't know, the vibe there just absorbs in your body, and psychologically you just become stronger. Yes. I went to New Zealand so I could lock myself in my father's office for 2 or 3 weeks. Yes. So, see, what happened, right? Problems over here, psychologically, they also made me go back to here and work on improvement. Like, this is why I've got continuous improvement, right? I had to go back to all this stuff, and I had to sort of continuously improve, and then I had to really work on the old rules. New Zealand right now is probably the best. New Zealand's probably with the World Cup rugby on. It's probably the best party country in the world right now. It's seriously. We'll talk about that. Oh, I'll surprise you with that stuff, Boykie. Oh, Wales haven't got a show. That's right, Money Magnet. It's all about my psychology. By what Lee means here, he's moving to Palmerston North. Hamilton's not changing its name. Okay, so there's a lot of contingency. What came out of the psychology was new rules and improvements in my analysis, trade planning, and everything. Yeah. I accept, guys, that the best looking trade plan I've seen for a long time could be a failure. Oh, you're all vulnerable. You're all vulnerable. And one word of advice, guys, when you're getting into this deal, don't be over leveraged. I've seen guys that have lost, who just because they have bucket loads of money, I don't know, left inheritance, sold a business, fell into millions of dollars, just because they have lots of money thinking they're going to be an awesome trader. Definitely not the case. I know someone that lost $250,000 in a single Forex transaction. And I don't care how good you are or how much money you have. That hurts. $250,000 as a novice Forex trader, loss? Ouch. That hurts. Yeah. So you gotta just start off small and grow. Alright? So, talking rules here, let's put a few rules. Now, these are examples of rules, right? So, these are the things that can help you get over. I mean, the rules, guys, your trading rules, they're all going to be different for different people, but they're designed to stop you a year, Lee. The rules are there to stop you getting into psychological problems. For example, no trade plan, no trade. So if you've done no analysis and you've not made a trade plan, there is no trade. So hopefully there will be no revenge trading. Revenge trading will kill you. It's a matter of time. Okay? Only trading with the trend. Have direction. Have people showing you where the money's going before you decide to jump in the market. If it's just going this, sideways like this, looking ugly, you're going to lose. I used to write some stuff down, Lucas, and print some stuff out and scribble on it, but now I sort of do it on my chart. So I sort of have a screen that I have that I put the pairs up that I know that I'm going to trade from, and I don't get too extravagant. Like, I'll go through, say, 10 pairs, 12 pairs, and I'll only look to trade 3 or 4 of them throughout the course of a day, so it's not, and once I've decided, I sort of switch the others off. Okay? Stick to your trade plan, guys. No micromanaging. If you decide you're going to buy here, get out up there, it's trending, it's a pullback, you've seen this time and time again, the tools you use telling you to get in it, get in the damn trade and be a man and see it through to the end. If you take a loss, take it on the chin, move on, make a new trade plan and a new trade somewhere else once you're back at acceptable levels of support or resistance. I prefer the USD pairs, to be honest, Robert. As I said before, I'm a humble trader after 50 pips a day, on average. I don't need to get all wound up in... I mean, if the yens are moving, I'll go to the yen crosses. But if the USD's moving, the yens are going to get put away. Well, you can take it like a woman. It's just, what I'm saying is, it's just the saying. It's not like, just take it like, take it like a market wizard. Alright? Move on. If you're going to make millions of dollars, you're going to have to take it. Because it's a round number, Boyke, and it's 300 pips a week, which is like 1,200 pips a month. And when I work out my own personal calculations, that's more than enough for me to survive. I mean, if you're going to trade, if in your trading career, you're going to work up to, say, 5 to 10 standard lots, 50 pips a day, do the maths. No, you want to trust your analysis and analysis. If you've got analysis paralysis, you just need to walk away. If you trade 5 to 10, if you can work your way up and start off small, but over the years work your way to 5 to 10 standard lots, PJ, and you make 50 pips a day, do the maths. You're going to make over $1 million a year. Yep. Let's go here. This is another example rule. Do not trade in the face of news. That'll probably you'll take a slapping there most times. Okay, and this is the most important thing. One of the most important things right here. I'll put a red box around it before we wrap up here. Okay, one of the most important things of all of your trading. If you break your rules, guys, your trading's done for the day. You're gone. You're out. That's a red card. Instant red card. Goodbye. No more trading. Because if you break your rules, you're just opening yourself up to breaking any of these examples I've listed above, which is just going to lead to micromanagement, to revenge trading, to trading against the trend or trading in sideways market, not sticking to your trade plans. Okay? I've mentored people, and I've spoken to them. I said, okay, do you have a set of trading rules? And they go, oh, I've got an awesome set of trading rules. I've got them right up on the office wall above my computer screen here in big type font. I'm like, that's good. So let's go through them. And they go through the rules. And they even have a rule that says if you break your rules, no, stop trading for the day. But they break their rules. No worries, BC. Okay? This whole psychology, guys, this whole thing here, and many of you might, it's sort of the fine line of trading I was explaining last night as well, is how just a very fine line can be the difference between a 180 pip winner for a day, because you micromanage something, or you missed it, and then you try to make that up and lose 80. See, a lot of your trading accounts are doing this in red, right? In fact, let me draw on a chart so it's got a clearer background. Let's say out of 100 people in this room, most of the trading accounts, hopefully demo, are doing something like that, which is totally fine, okay? They are, just waiting here, down. That's right, Lucas. Okay, now a lot of the reason why it's not doing something like this, sideways, or even in many of your cases, heading up, is because of everything I've just been talking about. See, I'll give you another example. I used to have a mentoree. I used to have a mentoree that could make easily 400 pips in a day. But then because of that breaking their trading rules, they end up giving that all back by the end of the week. Yeah, I know, I'm going to watch it live, Lee. Probably trade a bit of London and watch it live. All the games are shown live over here. It's going to be good. So for many of you, you have a negative trading account week on week on week. But if you'd stuck to your trading rules, you might have turned things around and actually been more like break even. So let's say that you lost, honestly, let's say you lost 200 pips in a week. I don't know. Silly trade there, counter trend there, shouldn't have taken it, took that in the face of the news, took a loss there, got peeved, so I revenge traded there, loss, you know, they add up, right? So when that happens, right, well, you know, you're breaking all your trading rules. If you did not break your rules, you would be surprised how your trading account would be. And as you get better and better with your analysis and trade planning and all those sorts of things, as you get better, your trading gets better, and if you can keep to your rules, your trading account will actually go, believe it or not, in the upside direction. I believe most people's trading accounts are not positive because they break rules, not because they're not a good trader. If you can stay away from stupid entries, you will make money. And I cannot overemphasize, I think it's the hardest part. This is the hardest piece, but the most important. This is like the heartbeat. This area in here is like the heartbeat of your trading system as an individual. And it's the part that you need to be like religious about the most. Is the psychology and the rules. And once you've got yourself established and you think you're competent at analysis and trade planning and execution, you should just dive straight into the rule side of things and the psychology and work on focusing that. And many of you, another thing that I should have actually mentioned was the keeping of a trade journal. That's one thing I did religiously, guys, in my first years of a trader, is I journaled everything. And that once again allows you to come back to the testing and continuous improvement of your system. Because if you've journaled everything, you can sit back on like a Friday or the weekend after trading and go through your journal for the previous week and go, why the heck did I take that? What was I thinking? And then you add up all those pips that you lost because of the stupid trades, and you sit there going, so I made 100 pips this week, but I gave 150 back in stupid trades. I'm down 50 for the week. Hello? This doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that if I just cut was strict with my rules and cut the stupid trades, I'd actually make money. Yep. Well, you're a pip bully, aren't you, pip bully? So that's just something you're going to need to think about, guys. It's sort of the one area that people sort of circle around and try to avoid. You know, one of the hardest things as an individual trader is if you're sitting, I sit at home office, right? I don't have a boss. Well, I have a wife, but I don't have a trading boss. I'm my own company. I'm my own entity. I'm my own little world. I'm not accountable to anybody. I'm not accountable to a trading firm. I'm not accountable. I don't have to follow like a company's strict trading rules. I don't. If I take a quick loss on the side, my boss isn't going to come screaming down the corridor and say, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I'm accountable to myself. So that'll take a session, Lee. So we might do that, but might have to wait towards the end of my sessions. I mean, I'll be here, until the end of September probably. So that's hard as an individual to be accountable to oneself and stick to their rules is a problem. I built up. I was sort of more like 25, 30 pips, and then I ramped it up. The old 50 pips. So, yeah, if you're accountable only to yourself, it's easy to break rules. So you sort of got to make yourself almost accountable to someone. So I actually make a point, believe it or not, I make a point of, basically while I'm having dinner or a cup of coffee or whatever, I will tell my board of management, the old wifey, I will tell her how my trading's going. And I ask for her feedback. If I have a bad day, I want her to turn around and say, why is that? What did you do? Should I be worried? I want someone to be sort of there with me. So it might be something that you might want to think about, some of you. You might want to have you might have a trading buddy that you might just talk on Skype every day or something and say, dude, let's just talk about how many pips we lost or won or how we traded. And so you can just sort of, like, I'll do this with David Pagler a little bit, right? We're good buddies, David and I. We're big baseball fans, so we'll talk trading for like 10 minutes every day, but then we'll talk baseball for like 30. That sort of deal. But in the trading, like if he's had a bad day, he'll say, took that and that happened, and I'll be like, yeah, I know. Well, don't worry about it. The markets are rubbish stuff. Or he'll say, I'll tell him, dude, I just cannot get into anything so far this week, and he'll just, just got to get a bit of confidence from another trader. It can help. Instead of just like being sitting there in your own little world. And that's what sort of FX Bootcamp, to be honest, one of the things that it is actually good about is amongst the little community that you have there, you can come, especially like my Asia class, you can come along and vent. I have the Dr. Rob Big Red psychological sofa. If you're having a bad period, send me a journal and sit up on the Dr. Rob sofa and we'll go through it as a group. I mean, people get a lot out of it because, it's almost like you sit in a ring of people and you go, my name is Rob and I'm a losing trader. People are like, they're all there for the same reason, but you can sort of take a lot of positives out of it. I'm a traderholic. But you can all get, it's good for everybody. And it's pretty good. Karina, how you doing? It's pretty good. When you're in a group like that, to sort of vent your frustrations or tell people about what's happened, and because you're not the only one. I can guarantee you that if Tobias said, I'm having a bad day, can I please share my trades with you? And these are my losses, and we put them up in front of the class, this room right now, that most of you would have done exactly the same thing. So you sort of, it's quite good. It's a win-win. We talk about the problems. And sometimes people throw up their trade plans and you go, man, it's a good trade. It just didn't work out. Or, man, you micromanaged that a little bit, didn't you? And then it went in your direction. Guys, let's wrap it up there. I'm back next Tuesday for 3 days. Okay? So, have yourselves a good weekend. And we will see you next week. Have a good one, guys. Cheers. I'll enjoy the rugby. Come on, the All Blacks. Cheers, guys.